In first part of this lecture, we have discussed the types of irrigation based on the availability of water, which are flow irrigation and lift irrigation. Then we have introduced different methods of irrigation, and also we have discussed different factors based on which the irrigation method can be selected. And also we have discussed in detail different surface irrigation method like furrow irrigation, basin irrigation and border irrigation. In this part of the tutorial, we will discuss the high efficiency irrigation methods, which are the sprinkler and trickle irrigation system. So the sprinkler irrigation system or sprinkler irrigation method and trickle irrigation method, these two methods are called the high efficiency irrigation method. The sprinkler system is ideal in area where water is scarce. Remember that the system which we are discussed, which we will cover in this part of the tutorial, these are the high efficiency irrigation system. As we have discussed in the first two parts, that the surface irrigation is the least efficient method. Almost the efficiency of the surface irrigation system is 30 to 35%. So the surface irrigation method will be adopted, will be recommended or accepted or adopted in those areas where water is abundantly available, excessively available and easily available. But if the water is not easily available, if the water is expensively available, if water is not abundantly available, if the water is scarce, in scarce amount it is available, then we will have to go for the sprinkler irrigation system and for the trickle irrigation system. A sprinkler system conveys water through pipes and applies it with a minimum amount of losses. Remember that there are different types of losses: storage losses, conveyance losses, application losses, distribution losses, storage losses in the root zone. So if the water is conveyed with the help of the we can say that pipes, or if the water are conveyed in a closed system, then the different types of the losses like the infiltration, the evaporation, the depopulation, those losses will be almost reduced. So the efficiency of the system will be increased. Okay. In this system, water is applied in the form of spray, sometimes simulating natural rainfall. Remember, the sprinkler method consists of applying the water in the form of spray. Means somewhat it is a type of artificial rainfall, and it is adoptable under such condition where surface irrigation method are not efficient. Means if the surface irrigation method is not recommended due to the inavailability of water, then we will have to go for the sprinkler system. Here you can see that the water is applied in the form of the artificial rainfall. Okay, so again then there are different methods, like you can see here that the water is applied in a single strip, and this is called the sprinkler. These are called the pop-up sprinkler, and you can see that the whole system are underground. The pipes which are supplying the water into this individual sprinkler is underground, so the evaporation losses, the conveyance losses are reduced, and the water is discharged with some specific amount of pressure. So these systems are also called the pressurized irrigation system, and this sprinkler is rotatable in 360 degree. Okay, so the whole area will be covered in a circular form, and you can see here that the water is discharged in a circular form. So these are called the fixed sprinkler, and these are the rotatable sprinkler. Here also you can see that the system is mounted, okay, into some at a center point, and this system is rotating at 360 degree. So these are called the mounted rotatable sprinkler irrigation system. So in sprinkler irrigation, a type of artificial rainfall is generated, and the water is applied in a controlled manner, and mostly all types of losses are reduced. So this is an example of pressurized high efficiency irrigation system, and this method is mostly useful Remember again, the selection of the method will be depend on the area, type of crops, like what type of method will be selected within the sprinkler irrigation system. But overall, the sprinkler irrigation system will be more useful where the land cannot be prepared for the surface method. Okay, why we will have to go for the pressurized irrigation system? So if there is major undulation, if there is irregularities or more, and you cannot prepare the land for the surface irrigation system, then you will have to go for the sprinkler one. If there is excessive slopes, again, then the water cannot be applied directly into the surface of water. If the topography is irregular, if the soil is highly erosive, yeah, if the soil is highly permeable or highly impermeable, okay, so then you will have to go for the sprinkler irrigation system, because this system is applying the water according to the infiltration rate of the soil. Okay, almost in same rate the water is applied as the infiltration rate, so the water which is applied into the soil, they would be properly infiltrated. In this type of irrigation, water is applied to plants like natural rainfall. Okay, is a type of natural rainfall is generated, so the losses are almost reduced, and also the application of water is effective. Water is distributed through a system of pipes, usually by pumping. Okay, so the water is pumped from the source of the water, either it will be the surface source of water or the underground water will be pumped into the system. There are main pipeline, then we have the sub pipeline, then we have the laterals. So the sprinklers are connected with the laterals, and the water are discharged by the sprinklers. Water under the pressure is carried and spread into the air above the crop through a system of overhead perforated pipes. Nozzle lines are through. So these are the different components of the sprinkler irrigation systems which are adopted in this system, yeah, which are used in the application of water through the sprinkler irrigation system. Nozzle are fixed type or rotating type, as we have discussed in the previous slide, that the point which are throwing the water, that is called the nozzle. So either it will be fixed nozzle if it is throwing the water in 360 degree, or if it is throwing the water in one strip in one direction in one radial line, then it will be rotating nozzle or rotating sprinkler. Sprayed water wet both the crop and the soil, and hence has a refreshing effect. See, the water is applied above the crops, so it keep the leaves of the plant refreshable. The stomata are open and the evapotranspiration rate is high. Okay, water is applied at a rate less than the intake rate of the soil, so there is no runoff. This is also one of the advantage of this method, that the water is applied at a rate less than the intake rate. So as much as water is applied into the soil, they will be directly infiltrated, so the runoff losses will be reduced, there will be no runoff. So if there is no runoff, then erosion will be controlled. Major quantity of water is applied to meet the soil water depletion. How much is the requirement, so at that rate we have to apply the water. So it is a control method, it is the measurable method. Monitoring of the water or telemetry of the water is effectively adopted in this system. See, this is an example of the fixed nozzle sprinkler. See, the water is applied into 360 degree. This method is suitable mostly for any types of crops, and mostly for any types of the soil. So for most row field tree crops, and water can be spread over or under the crop canopy. Large sprinklers are not recommended for irrigation of delicate crops. See, as this system is a pressurized irrigation system, so that is not recommended for the delicate crops. If the leaves of the crops are affected or damaged by the pressurized flow of water, then this system will be not recommended. For example, then the lettuce of the crops are affected. Okay, the upper layer, for example, if the crops are for example, if it is tomatoes, so if tomatoes are hit by the high pressurized water, then its latest or upper core will be damaged. Okay, suitable slope. So this sprinkler irrigation method is almost adoptable for any types of slope, because no runoff are generated. So if the slope is highly excessive slope, or if it is mild slope, or flat areas, then this method is recommended, because there is no ponding of water will be occurred, or no we can say that no runoff will be generated. So this method is suitable for all types of the soil, for all types of the slopes. Lateral pipes supplying water to sprinkler should always be laid out along the land contour. Mean the pipes which are supplying the water into the sprinkler will be laid along the slope, so that the power requirement are reduced. This will minimize the pressure change at the sprinkler and provide a uniform irrigation system. You can see that this is a whole irrigation system. The water, this is a water source. Okay, so the water is pumped and pressurized at a pumping unit, and then the water is pushed into the main pipeline. So this one is the sub main line or the lateral, and the sprinklers are connected with these laterals, and then we can say that it through the water. So there will be a pumping station, there will be a distribution station, and there will be the discharging point. So these are the components of the sprinkler irrigation system. There is uniform application by artificial rainfall. As the water is applied by means of the artificial rainfall, so the application of water is almost uniform. Okay. Good application efficiency, almost the efficiency of the sprinkler system is from 70 to 80%, and as we have discussed that the efficiency of the surface system is from 20 to 30%, hardly 35%. Okay, so this is why it is called the high efficiency irrigation system. Dependent on wind, temperature, and humidity. See, if the wind speed is high, then the pattern of the flowing water will be disturbed. So then the water will be not applied uniformly. So the uniformity of the application of water will be disturbed. So these are the limitations. Also the temperature. If in some area the temperature is high and you are applying the water by sprinkler means, so you can see that is generating a type of artificial rainfall. So the droplet size is very small. So before reaching into the ground, it will be evaporated. And also it is limited by the humidity. In those areas where is less humidity, then again the evaporation rate will be high and the efficiency of the system will be affected. Fairly terrain independent means this system is not dependent on the condition or the topography of the area or the slope of the area. Mean for each type of slope this method will be recommended, but design must take terrain into account. But when you are designing, when you are laying the pipelines of the system, then the slope will be considered, so that the pressure requirement or the power requirement are reduced. They have a low labor cost, mean during operation no labor is required, no guidance to the water is required. Okay, so the labor cost are reduced, but remember it has high installation cost. However, more initial cost, high maintenance cost due to pumping. Okay, means suppose if there is some damage is occurred in the system, or some, remember the most disadvantage of the system is clogging. Okay, if the water is, if there is sediments in the water, if there is impurities, then the nozzle size is very less, is less than 1 millimeter diameter of the side. So then the clogging of the system will be occurred. So the maintenance will be required, or the maintenance cost will be high, and also some skilled person will be required. Engineers will be required for its proper operation to control the pressure and the discharge in the system. Okay, and suppose there is two pipelines. Suppose this is one lateral, this is another lateral. Okay, suppose here one sprinkler is here, another sprinkler is here, one sprinkler is here, another sprinkler is here. So this sprinkler will be covering this area in the circular form, another sprinkler will be covering this area. Okay, another, this sprinkler will be covering this area. So what discharge will be required by the individual sprinkler? So that is the Q. Mean Q is the discharge by the individual sprinkler. So SL is the spacing between the sprinklers along the lateral. That is the spacing between the sprinklers along the lateral, and SM is the spacing between the sprinklers at two different, we can say that at two different lateral. One is the SL and another one is the SM. okay, and I is the infiltration rate of the soil. So the discharge required by individual sprinkler will be equal to SL into Sm into I, and divided by 3600 meter. So 3600 meter, that is a converging factor. See, SL, that is the spacing of sprinkler along the lateral. In this one, this is the SL, okay, and Sm is the spacing of lateral. See, this is the Sm, and I is the water application rate. Okay, so if Sm, that is in meter, Sm is in meter, I is in we can say that in millimeter per hour. That is the application rate. That what is the application of water into the soil, that is millimeter per hour. So this much discharge will be required from each rotating sprinkler in liter per second. Remember, that is in liter per second. So 3600, that is the conversion factor. So this is the designing formula, that if the spacing is increased between the two sprinkler, yeah, if the spacing between the lateral are increased, yeah, if the intake rate, application rate is more, then more discharge will be required from an individual sprinkler. There are three types of the sprinkler irrigation system. Either the system will be permanent, semi-permanent, and portable. Remember, if whole system is fixed, mean if the pumping station is fixed, if the pipelines are fixed and underground and buried, then it is called the permanent irrigation system. Remember, this system will be permanent irrigation system will be adopted in those areas where the agricultural machinery is not operated. Okay, for example, in golf courses or in cricket grounds, the permanent sprinklers are installed. In semi-permanent system, the pumping station and the main pipeline are fixed and the laterals are movable. For example, if this area is irrigated, then shift this lateral into another portion of the area and irrigate that portion of the field. So then it is called the semi-permanent sprinkler irrigation system. Okay, remember, in permanent, the pumping station, the supply lines, and the sprinklers all are fixed and buried underground. In semi-permanent, the pumping station and the main supply line are fixed, and the laterals and sprinklers are portable or movable. And the third one, the portable system, here you can see that this system is completely portable, mean the pumping station is also movable, the pipelines are also movable. So when you irrigate one portion of the field, then shift the whole system into another area. So then it is called the portable irrigation system. Okay. For example, here you can see that the lateral is above the earth. So when this area is irrigated, then shift this lateral into another portion of the field and irrigate that one. So if the pumping station and the main line are fixed and the lateral are movable, then it is called the semi-permanent sprinkler irrigation system. And if these laterals are fixed below the ground, then it will be called the permanent. Okay, and also that is one of the example, the single gun sprinkler system. Mean this system is installed at the corner of the field and the water is thrown or discharged for the half of the area, quarter of the field is covered by this system. Okay, so these are the different patterns. Here the sprinklers will be rotated in 180 degree. Okay, mean there are the water is thrown in two directions. Okay, and here the water is thrown in one direction, so it will rotate it in 360 degree. See, this is one of the example of a sprinkler irrigation system. Okay, single gun irrigation system. It is throwing the water in different directions. See, the water is thrown. So from this point up to the farthest point, okay, so the throwing of the water is uniform. So it is rotatable, mean it is rotating in 360 degree. See, with the lateral, these sprinklers are connected. These are the guns. These are called the single point guns. Okay, see, the water is applied in the form of artificial rainfall. So the water is applied in a slowly rate, so there is no runoff is occur, no founding is occur. and the water is properly infiltrated by the soil. So this is one of the most efficient and we can say that the pressurized irrigation system is compared to the surface irrigation. So the water is properly conserved, the water is properly applied into the crops, into the field. Okay, so maximally is compared to the surface irrigation, 50 to 60% losses are reduced. Okay, this is also, we can say that, a type of the pop-up sprinklers which are used in the unrelated area, in the irregular areas. See, these sprinklers are popped up from the ground and apply the water in 360 degrees. See, the water is applied near to the sprinklers and then again in the form of the droplets. So the whole radius, that is called the radius of the grow, that is covered. Okay, and the sprinkler is rotating in 360 degrees. So this area will be covered by one sprinkler, another area will be covered by another sprinkler. So that is the discharge, that how much discharge will be required by each and individual sprinkler. So that is depend on the spacing between the sprinkler along the lateral, and that is depend on the distance between the sprinklers, between the laterals, okay, and the intake rate of the soil. So how much discharge will be required. So that discharge Q is equal to the spacing between the sprinkler along the lateral multiplied by the spacing between the lateral multiplied by the intake rate. So the water which you are applying into the area, that will be properly we can say that infiltrated. And here you can see that the pattern is disturbed by this by the wind speed. Okay, so if the wind speed is high, if the wind speed is high in an area, then the application of water will be irregular and the uniformity of the water will be disturbed. Also, the temperature is affecting the efficiency of the system. Okay, and there are some of the advantages of this system, that the erosion are controlled, uniform application for water is possible, irrigation is better controlled, light irrigation is possible, land preparation is not required, so labor cost is reduced, border and ditches are not required, surface runoff is eliminated. Okay, crop damage is reduced. It is also a standby drainage pumping plant, but there is limitation that wind can distort the pattern, and also constant supply of water is required. Clean water will be introduced into the system, because when the clogging will be occurred, the power requirement is high, there is operative cost and installation cost of the system. Okay, and heavy soil with poor intake cannot be irrigated efficiently, meaning if the intake rate is less, then runoff can be caused. And the efficiency of the system is mean the water which you are applying into the field, that is, you can say that the application efficiency of the system will be equal to the water stored in the root zone, okay, divided by the water applied into the system. That is the application efficiency. So how much water you are applying into the system and how much water is stored in the root zone, that is called the application efficiency. So for the surface irrigation system, this efficiency is hardly 30 to 35%, and for the sprinkler irrigation, this efficiency is up to 80%. Is how much water you are entering into the system, that water is properly stored in the root zone. Okay, but again this efficiency is then affected by the wind speed, mean 5% of the efficiency is reduced by each 7.5 km per hour of the wind speed. So this was all about the sprinkler irrigation. Now we have another irrigation system method, that is called the drip or trickle irrigation. Mean again there is some limitation of the sprinkler irrigation system. Mean there is still evaporation losses. Okay, mean still the efficiency is 70 to 80%, so we can improve the efficiency of the system. So in this method, the water is directly applied into the root zone, so the evaporation losses or the application losses are furtherly reduced. So that is, this one is more efficient than the sprinkler irrigation system. This system was first introduced in Israel in 1935. In this irrigation, water is applied in the form of drops directly into the root zone, that is directly applied nearly the base of the plant. Water is conveyed through a system of flexible pipes. You can see that the water is pumped from a well. It is we can say that it is cleaned or treated, okay, because treatment is required. Then the pipes will be clogged, or the pipes will be blocked, and the system will be damaged, so the treatment will be required. And also remember, by these two systems, sprinkler and drip irrigation system, the fertilizers can be applied. So we can apply the fertilizer into the water, and then they will be directly applied into the root zone of the plants. So the water is applied in flexible pipelines operating at low pressure and is applied to the plants through the drip nozzle. Okay, means here we have a nozzle which is discharging a continuous and uniform amount of water into the root zone. This technique is also known as feeding bottle technique, because the water is feeded into the root by drop wise. The water is added. Drip irrigation limit the water supplied for consumptive use of the plants by maintaining a minimum soil moisture equal to a field capacity. Means how much water is stored in the soil against the gravitational forces, that is called the field capacity. So throughout the season, the field capacity is maintained by this irrigation system. Along with irrigation water, nutrients, fertilizer solution are also fed to the system. Water is first filtered so that the impurities may be not clog the fine holes. Okay. So in this system, water is applied close to the plants. Here you can see that for each and individual plants, the water is directly applied into the root zone. So one of the main advantages is also this one, that the unwanted area is not irrigated. So the weed in the area are reduced, the unwanted plants are reduced. So water is applied close to the plant so that only part of the soil in which the root grow is wetted and entire field is not wetted. So that is the water is properly conserved, in unwanted area is not irrigated, the losses are reduced, so the water will be effectively and efficiently applied. Weeds are controlled because only the places getting water can grow. Weed mean the extra places, the unwanted places are not irrigated, so the unwanted plants are reduced. This is a low pressure system, mean as compared to the sprinkler system, this is a low pressure system, mean less power is required because the water is discharged by the gravity, mean the pipes will be laid along the slope of the field, so then as compared to the sprinkler system, less power is required. There is a slow rate of water application, somewhat matching the consumptive use. Okay, consumptive use is the utilization of the water by the plants in 24 hours. So how much water a plant is utilizing, that much water will be applied into the root zone. So the losses, the depopulation, the runoff, the evaporation, all of the losses are reduced. So almost the efficiency of this system is up to 95% because completely all types of losses are reduced. Application rate can be as low as 1 to 12 liter per hour. Mean this much water can be applied. Again, they will be depend on the type of the soil and on the type of the crops. There is reduced evaporation, only potential evapotranspiration is considered, mean only the water which is properly utilized by the plants. Other evaporation losses are reduced. There is no need for a drainage system, okay, mean there is no runoff, so the extra water which is runoff in the which cause the runoff in the surface irrigation system, it requires some drainage system. So in drip or trickle irrigation system, there is no need for the drainage system. See, the water is directly applied into the vicinity of the roots. Okay. Again, it is suitable for any formable slope. Okay, mean for irregular area, for we can say that for undulated area, because no land preparation is required, just lay down the pipe along the slope and the area then the plants will be irrigated. Normally the crop will be planted along the contour line and the water supply pipe will be laid along the contour also, so that to reduce the pressure requirement, the power requirement. This will minimize the change in emitter discharge as a result of land elevation changes. Drip irrigation is suitable for most soil. Okay, again mean if the soil moisture, if the soil infiltration rate is high, mean if the soil is highly permeable, then you can increase the discharge by the emitter. And if the soil is impermeable, mean the intake rate is less, then the water application, you can control that application of water. So this system is suitable for any types of the soil. On clay soil, water must be applied slowly. Okay, you can control the discharge. If the soil is impermeable, so reduce the application of water, so the runoff will be avoided. On sandy soil, higher emitter discharge rates will be needed to ensure adequate lateral welting of the soil. Okay, if in the sandy soil, mean the infiltration rate is high, so the high discharge will be required. One of the main problem with drip irrigation is the blockage. Mean now that is the limitation. Okay, the size of the emitter are less than 1 millimeter, almost mean 0.2 millimeter diameter. So if the water is not clean water, if there is sediments, if there is impurities, if there is some biological or chemical impurities, then it will block the emitter, and that is main of the problem, that the maintenance cost is high for the drip irrigation system, and the proper control will be required, mean clean water will be required. Thus, it is essential for irrigation water to be free of sediments. Okay, if this is not so, then filtration of the irrigation will be needed. Mean if already the water is not free of sediment, then first you have to filtrate it before introducing it into the system. Blockage may also occur if the water contains algae, fertilizer deposits, dissolved chemicals and calcium, because then it is deposited in the openings and it will cause the blockage of the system. Filtration may remove some of the nutrients, but the problem may complex to solve and require an experienced professional. Again, the sprinkler irrigation system and the drip irrigation system are the scientific methods, and some skilled laborers, some skilled persons will be required as compared to the surface irrigation system. Okay, so these are the this is the animations of the drip irrigation system. So there are different components. First one, we have the pumping station, which is lifting the water and entering it into a system. Then we have a head tank or a storage tank if it is required. You have to directly apply the water into the system. Then we have the fertilizer tanks. If suppose you are having some fertilizers, okay, there will be some treatment plants. Then we have the central distribution system, where the main pipeline. Then we have the sub main line or the lateral, which is distributing the water, which is carrying the water into individual emitter. So main pipeline and sub main pipeline. And then we have the laterals are the we can say that the trickle line, okay, the drip lines. Okay, so with each and every crops or plants, there will be a hole, there will be an emitter which will discharge the water according to the requirement of the crop and according to the intake rate of the soil. Okay, mostly this is the whole system of the drip irrigation system. But there is some disadvantages of the system, that again the agricultural machinery will be difficult to operate in the system, and for different crops different spacing will be required between the two crops. So for each and every types of crops, you will have to change the design, where you will have to change the system, because for each and every crop there will be different spacing will be required. So then these pipes, these lateral, these trickle lines will be changed, or these will be moved from one position into another position. Okay. Another one, we have the subsurface irrigation system. This is a special type of the drip irrigation system, that again, if the water is not properly we can say that entered in the soil, yeah, if the surface is of hard nature, then the pipes are laid underground. Here you can see that the pipes will be laid underground, so that the water are properly applied more effectively in the root zone. So applied in places where natural soil and topography condition favor water application to the soil under the surface. Okay, mean the water where the laterals or the trickle lines are laid underground. Okay, so if the top layer is impervious, then the water will be not entered into the soil from above the surface, so then we have to let the laterals below the ground surface. Okay, if the soil is pervious underlying the restricting layer, I mean if there is some restricting layer which is blocking the flow of water into the soil. So uniform topographic condition mean if there is no slope, if there is slope is zero. Okay, so again this system will be considered. Here you can see that in subsurface irrigation, water is applied to a series of farm ditches. See, mean into the soil surface. Mean inside, directly the water will be discharged in the root zone. But one of the main disadvantage of this system is the mechanizations are impossible in that area. Okay. So this one was the drip irrigation system. Yeah, also we can say that drip irrigation system has less requirement of the irrigation water, so more water will be conserved. Okay, water supply is at optimum level. Okay, properly the water is applied in the root zone, water logging is avoided, high yield of the crop will be expected. We can say that there will be no over irrigation, mean the losses will be reduced. Okay, weed will be controlled because unwanted area will be not irrigated, and more area will be irrigated from less water. Okay, also nutrients will be preserved because the nutrients will be directly applied into the root zone, so the losses in the nutrients or fertilizer will be reduced. There will be no labor cost, but skilled labor will be required, skilled professionals will be required. There will be no erosion, okay, because the water which you are applying that will be directly infiltrated. Suitability for all types of soil. Okay, but the disadvantages are there is high initial cost and the blockages of the nozzles are the main problem. Change in the spacing of the nozzle will be required for different crops. Okay, so all of these are the advantages and disadvantages. For each and every system there will be advantages and disadvantages, but you have to select the system according to your requirement and according to the factor which we have discussed in the first part of the tutorial. Now you can see that this is the efficiency. See, the flood irrigation, mean the surface irrigation, that is the least efficient, and the drip irrigation, that is the most efficient system. Okay, mean the flood irrigation or furrow irrigation, these are the surface irrigation systems, and its efficiency is hardly from we can say that from 20 to 30%. The application efficiency, mean the water stored into the root zone divided by the water entered into the system, so that is 20 to 30%, and for sprinkler irrigation that efficiency is up to, we can say that 80%, but for drip irrigation the efficiency is up to 95%. So this is the most efficient method. Sprinkler irrigation system and drip irrigation system, these two are called the high efficiency irrigation system, or these two are called the pressurized irrigation system. Okay. Now you can see that what are the expected benefits of these two high efficiency irrigation systems. So almost 40 to 50% of the water are saved as compared to those surface irrigation system, because the losses are reduced, the water are conserved. 30 to 100% increase in the agricultural productivity. Okay, mean if the right amount of water is available at the right time and in the right place, so automatically the productivity will be improved. 25 to 40% saving in fertilizer, because the fertilizers are directly applied in the root zone, so its losses will be reduced. 40 to 45% increase in the cropping intensity, mean the yield per unit area. Okay, so if the agricultural land is irrigated by high efficiency irrigation system, then the cropping intensity will be increased by 40 to 45%. Employment generation, means for some professionals will be required for its design and installation and its maintenance, so it will create the employment opportunities. Also private sectors or companies will be involved in the installation and design of the systems, and average additional income to farmer is 20,000 per hectare. This is a rough average estimate by the high efficiency irrigation system. Now which method will be selected? Okay, which method will be best irrigation method? So again, the irrigation method selection will be depend on the type of the crops, the type of the soil, the topographic condition, the climatic condition, but which system will be considered is the best one if it apply the water uniformly. Okay, mean if the uniform water infiltration, the method which apply the water or which infiltrate the water uniformly, it will be considered as a best method for the specific area. If the method deliver the water to the root zone and with the higher efficiency, application efficiency, with the and the lowest cost is operative cost is less. That is the most important considerable factor. Okay, the cost. If the cost is less, application efficiency is high, water is delivered into the root zone and the water is uniformly applied, so then we will say that the irrigation method is best one with the lowest cost per acre and per metric ton produced. Okay, mean the product which is produced by the area, so actually the cost of the irrigation will be applied to per ton product or per acre product. So if it is less, then the method which you have selected will be the best one. Okay, so in this second lecture we have discussed the types of irrigation and the methods of irrigation. Thank you.